So, welcome everybody. Welcome. Today is October the 15th, 2020, and you are listening to a new human experience podcast. The topic for tonight is balancing energy. So, energy is a big topic. I'm going to talk a little bit about. I'm kind of giving the outline this week, and then next week I'll go even deeper into it at another level. So let's begin. So I actually want to start with talking about what do I mean by balance, because I've talked. I want the theme for this whole month is balance. So I thought, well, the third week in, or the third episode in, I would like to give my definition of what what do I mean by balance, and why balance is so important. I am chuckling because I should have given that the first week, but I just got clear on what balance means to me. So I would want to share with all of you. So balance, the way I think of what balance is achieving what balance is achieved when you really know who you are so solidly and so grounded within your own body that no matter what you witness and experience outside of you, nothing can dislodge you, can kind of phase you from this center, this knowing of who you are. And for me, that's what balance is. And of course, this is an ideal, and maybe a lot of us, myself including, is not there yet. There would be absolutely days when it's very easy for me to stay balanced, and then there will be days when it's not so easy. So it's it's a process, and we're all learning to get to the point where we become so um we have that inner knowing of who we are, that no matter what is happening outside, we would be still be able to really stand in that inner knowing and be that balance. So having said all that, so let's go into balancing energy. So we are eternal essence. So I don't know if you've heard of that. I know I've mentioned it a couple of times at the very least in within these podcast episodes, that we are eternal essence. So what does that mean? That means we are actually um the truth of who we are is not this body, or I should say it's not just this body. That the essence of who we are is actually energy. We are we are energy. We are energy beings first, before we are physical body beings, before we are human beings. So we are actually eternal essence having a human experience. And our vessel, our body, is the container of our human experience, of how we play and co-create on earth, is using these bodies. These bodies belongs to earth. So and we have talked about how to balance the body last week. So this week, let's talk more about the bigger part of who we are, which is energy, or our essence. So how do we balance this? Because we are um, we are the amalgamation of the two. We are energy. We are pure energy. Our essence is pure energy, and we also inhabit this body, and we experience and create our experience on earth with this body. So the and being able to learning how to balance our own energy in this body is a big part of um really owning our own creation. So there are actually many, like this is balancing our own energy is actually a something that has a long history. There, I don't know if you ever heard of the that we have 7 chakras, which are energy centers within our body. So we have 7 chakras. In some tradition we have 7 chakras. In other traditions we have actually 13 chakras. And then under Chinese medicine, we also have meridians, and Ayurvedic, and have all these different ways to really get to know our energy body. And all of these systems are valid, and they tell us, they like pretty much all, I would say, older cultures have some idea of the energy body and how to balance the energy. Indian, Chinese, all those, Egyptian, definitely the older cultures, they really know about energies. And there are different ways, they have different ways of knowing and organizing their energies. And what I'm talking about today is not negating any of it. I'm just simplifying all these systems into to just 3 centers, because like the 3 centers now, which I think some of you or most of you may be familiar with, which is the Dantian. And if you are familiar with Sifu James' work, then you would have heard of that we have three. We have actually 3 dantians. The dantian is really a Chinese name, which just simply means energy center. So, so there is the upper dantian, the middle dantian, and the lower dantian. And a lot of Sifu James work, let's say, about the ultimate power, ultimate supply, and the love connector. Those are actually, if you know the location of them, it's really the ultimate power is in the upper dantian area, and the love connector is the middle, and the supply is the lower dantian. So it's really different names, different ways of understanding the upper, the middle, and the lower. And so those are the 3 energy centers, which I would simply, that's how I based mine. And that really, the 3 centers is really the Taoist way of understanding energy centers. And I picked this not because that's the best model, but because that's the simplest model. Just 3, not 7, not 13, not there's so many meridians. That's just more complicated. I just want to pick one, which is the Taoist way, that is the simplest, just 3, so 3 energy centers. And if we can understand those 3 centers, then the others would just be a more detailed and elaborate way of understanding energy. So I like simple, so let's start simple. So let's talk. I also want to preface this as saying that there are many ways of understanding the energy centers, the upper, middle, and lower. However, what I am most interested in is to find out how we create, because creating is is something that we have, that we can do. It's an innate ability. And for so many, in thousands of years, though, we have been fed all of these different programs, different thought forms that has completely, um, I would say, muddled how to create, to the point that the only way we know how to create now is, just having sex, creating a baby. So we think that that's the only way that we can create, that we know how to create. But actually that's just one small aspect of our creation, we can create pretty much anything we can think of. And we are struggling. A lot of people are struggling. And when we talk to, how people are having, a challenging time now, it's because everyone is, they don't, they're completely confused. They don't know how to create a reality that they want to experience, that they truly enjoy experience, because our own ability to create our own experience have been completely hijacked. So this is just, that's why I'm so interested in knowing and finding out more information about how we create and what's the best way to start to reclaim that, our ability, and really be in charge of our own ability to create. And for me, this is really one of the most important, I would say, mandate for my own, learning, for my own growing, is to understand, um, my own energy system, what's blocking it, and what can I do in order to, um, unblock it and get back to being who I truly am as a creator. So that's just to preface, that's my that's how I look at these, the, balancing energy. So the first I want to talk about is the upper dantian, which is where we conceive of the idea. We conceive ideas. We get, that's where we think of things like a dream, dreaming of what it is that we want to experience. That, the all the creative ideas, conceiving of creative ideas, dreaming, and also just, um, being able, when I say dream, I don't just mean that, dreaming at night. It's really about using our imagination to to envision realities that don't exist right now in our life, or don't even exist in anyone's life. So that really, that's a dream. However, it's a dream if it's only something that we think about and there's no action behind it, then it's a dream. However, the first step of creation is always to, is the idea, is to get the concept, is to have an idea of what it is that you want to experience. And this idea of dream is so, I would say, there's so much conversation about, like, not being a dreamer, or get real, don't be a dreamer, just, just be practical. All of those are judgment that, that really is aiming at not honoring our upper dantian, and not honoring our ability to imagine experiences that we don't have currently. And we think that because it has not happened, that it's wrong, or somehow not, practical to engage in those things. And most creative people always start with daydreaming. There's nothing wrong with it. And it's time that we start to really know that, everything happens, anything that has ever happened always starts with an idea. And when we get to the point where we don't judge any idea as being, crazy ideas, and just know that, yes, it's an idea, great. That's the first step of owning our creative essence, is to allow ourselves to dream as big as you want. And that's really feeding our and starting to clear the energy of our upper dantian is to really, instead of thinking that we should be practical, is allow yourself to dream. Maybe not 24 hours a day. However, give yourself time to envision something that you would like to experience. And when you have that idea, that's the first step. And any conversation in your head that tells you that you cannot, you can't just have this idea and that is not enough, this idea, those are really the energy that you need to clear. And it shows you what it is that's blocking you in your upper center, the the upper center, the upper dantian, the upper energy center is really about tapping into the ideas that is not just going to serve you, but would be able to benefit everyone as well. And and that actually leads me into talking about the middle dantian. So how do we know whether something is going to benefit everyone, not just ourselves? Is really that the middle dantian is where our heart is where is the motivation. What is our motivation? We have to ask ourselves. Our motivation has to be in the higher energy, in this fifth dimension energy. It has to be unconditional love. It has to be from unconditional love. If you are only creating from uh, benefiting yourself only, then that's a different kind of energy. So it's also about um, being in your heart and really feeling this unconditional love for yourself, and also being connected with all of humanity, not just the people that not just for the people that will benefit you, not just for your family members or friends, but it's whatever idea that you want to bring into this world in the fifth dimension. Is it has to benefit everyone, not just yourself. So in terms of creating in the higher energy, in the fifth dimension, this center is very important, because this is where our motivation is. It actually helps us to really decipher, because we have ideas. I don't know about you, but for me, I have so many ideas that maybe not thousands, but at least 10, 15, 20 ideas that of things that I would like to experience and create in my own life. And the problem I have is I don't have enough hours in the day for me to do all of that. So that's where, so the first the upper dantian is about conceiving ideas, and allow yourself the freedom to conceive of as many ideas as you possibly can, thousands if you can. If you're creative enough, you may just be able to think of 1,000 things that you want to experience, and then it has to go through the second center as well, which is where your heart is, and that's where you can start um, to look through all the ideas that you have. Which one of them really has the motivation of unconditional love that is good for yourself and good for everyone else around you as well? So when this center, when the middle dantian, your heart area, you have passion for life, and you're motivated by unconditional love, then you would be able to have the motivation to actually nurture the ideas, so the ideas don't just stay ideas, but they would start to become concrete experiences. that you can have in your life, that you can actually start to bring it into, from just being in the ethereal and energetic form, you can start to bring it into the next, bring it through to the next stage, which is really getting the motivation to put your energy into, maybe not all thousands of them, however, what is, and be able to prioritize which ones of those, maybe one or maybe five of those, that you can use and be motivated and really go after and create those for yourself to experience at a time. So that is really what the middle dantian is about. And the way that we have been, that is to note about clearing the middle dantian, is that it's really about love. It's, we are so um starved of love. It's like in the human population, most of us needs to have other people love us. We need to have someone else love us in order for us um to understand what love is, because we are not taught to love ourselves. And so we start to look at, we look for something that we have not been able to give to ourselves, and we look for it from outside. And that's why we are so we're so love starved, and we would do anything for other people to love us. That actually distorts our middle dantian, is that we need to learn and really know and really feel to love ourselves, to truly love ourselves, not self-indulgent, but really love ourselves so much that we would do whatever it takes to know, to get to know ourselves, to get to know our eternal essence, to get to know who we truly are. So that is what's blocking this middle dantian. It's about not knowing how to love ourselves, and not knowing how to know what true love really is unconditional. It's um, it's not about taking, it's about giving. And we can do that because when we love ourselves, when we have love, then when we give love away, it does not matter how much love we give away, there is still more, because we love ourselves unconditionally. So there is that inexhaustible um, source of love that no one else, no matter how much you try to give it away, no one else can deplete that when you love yourself. And when you don't love yourself, you don't know that you you don't know how to love yourself, and you're only seeking for love from outside, then the reverse is true, is no matter how much love you receive, it's, you can't keep it, because you don't have the vessel, you don't have the capacity to keep that love, because you haven't found it within yourself yet. So that's what the middle dantian is about. It's about having a passion, having the motivation for life itself, because life itself is beautiful, absolutely beautiful, when you know how to create for yourself, when you love yourself, when you love yourself so much that everything you see outside, you recognize that unconditional love being reflected back to you. And that's what balancing the middle dantian is about. And then the lower dantian is the raw creative power that we have. The lower dantian, it's below the belly button. It's where our sexual organs is. And in our society, we are so we have very little understanding of what sex is. We only think that, oh, sex just to have intercourse. It's not. Sex is actually the love of life. And having sexual intercourse is only one way, a very limited way of expressing and experiencing that. It's actually the love of life. And when you can truly tap into that raw creative power into you, that is really innately you as the creator itself, that when you love life so much, when you love yourself, you love life so much, you that those energy centers are completely open, and you can actually co-create with Mother Earth at the level that you can channel as much energy in order to fuel and to power how you can create your reality the way you want it. And that is just a self-perpetuating motion. Is you love life, that's why you have so much energy to allow you to have a healthy body and be able to co-create with other people, love other people as much as you love yourself. So all that has been so shut down because we this, I don't know about other culture, I just know that in my own culture there's so many things about like so much taboo about sex. And it's from the culture, it's religion, all like different part of it. So many at so many levels. Is the our sexual power is so misunderstood, and it's absolutely deliberate because we, what's the best way of making sure that we cannot create what we want is to is to really distort our own creative center, which is our sexual center. And when we have so many misunderstanding about what sexual energy is, about what having sex is, that is that really distorts our ability to create the reality that we want. And that's something that I think we most of us really need to start to look at and start to reclaim that energy. Because I know for myself is that the um, like for me, that the sexual center is shut down because of my own misunderstanding of it. And the more I look into creation, the more I really understand that um, the the sexual center is, if you are not creating what it is that you want to experience, then you can be sure that you have some distortion in your understanding of your own sexual energy, whether it is your understanding of what being a male and female is about, or about how to or about how to really nurture yourself. To, I'm not saying that we should all, have casual sex and all that. There's nothing wrong with it. It is just that there's been so much disinformation about it. And when we start to look at the stories, or the distortion of our own understanding of our creative energy, the sexual energy is so important and so powerful that when two people of opposite sex comes together, we can actually create a new life. And that's how powerful that is. Now, those people don't have to be skilled, don't even have to know anything about it. They can just fool around and wham, we can still create. That's how powerful the sexual energy is. And we have been told that the sexual energy is just for one thing, is sex. No, it's a love of life, channeled really well and really understood. That is our love of life. And if you don't love your life right now, then you know that there is some stories in your understanding of your own creative power, whether you understand that as being sexual or just creative. There, I can guarantee you there is some sort of blockage if you're not loving the life that you're living right now. So, um, so those are really, let's see, what else do I want to, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so a lot of those centers is how to, now let's talk about how to balance those center. It's not something that I can do for you in this 1 hour or 2 hours or even 3 hours. Even if I make this into a 5 hour talk, it's still not enough. It's something that you need to do for yourself if you so choose. So I leave that up to you. I'm only the messenger. I just want you to know that if you are not able, if you don't think that right now the life that you have created for yourself is satisfactory on some level, if you're not at that point yet, then I would highly suggest that you really start to look into balancing those three centers. Now, the and you can do that just by looking at examining where it is, and that is the which center is the most blocked. And I would actually start with the sexual centers, the lower centers first, because if the lower centers are blocked, then the energy actually um, would be more distorted when it gets into the middle, and even more distorted when it gets to the higher dantians. So start with the lowest dantian, start with the lower dantian, and start to really look into conversations that is holding you back. Things like if you have any kind of shame, any kind of guilt, any kind of trapped emotions, then look into those and start to let go, start to let go of those emotions, because they are all about the stories that we tell ourselves that is distorted. The And only you know, only you can know what those stories are. And I would suggest you start to look into those and releasing. There's so many ways to do that. I've already talked about how to do fear processing, and you can use fear process for releasing shame, releasing guilt, or any other negative emotions as well. And also, if you are familiar with Sifu James' work, he has a lot of ways to assist you in letting go of emotions. And I think on Tuesday he actually did the junk DNA, which I think at the beginning of when I was chatting with people that are early on the call, is that I've actually did some of that, and I really like the results of starting to go at it and releasing these deep traumas that is not just affecting you, but it's something that has been passed down from your mother's side or your father's side. So those are ancestral traumas about shame and guilt and all that being passed down. and they are passed down to you through the DNA. And when you start to do work at such a deep level, you actually would be able to feel and be able to start to untangle yourself from all those lower energies that's holding you back. So that's my suggestion, is to start at the lower dantian, and look at how you, like, if you are a man, then look at how you um, think of what masculinity is, and also start to unlearn those, because all we know about masculinity is no longer applicable, is because our understanding of what masculinity and femininity are is very distorted. It's actually the start to look into what innately do you want to be, how do you want to be, and beyond your gender, there is you as the spiritual being. So your spiritual being has a certain vibration, and your understanding of what masculinity or what femininity may be is like, what I'm trying to say is, let go of what your culture or what your society is telling you, is to start to go deep into yourself and really start to allow yourself to feel what is right for you, and allow that part of you to come out. And that is how you can start to balance yourself in the lower dantian, and also any of the other energy center. Now is to actually let go of the programming, let go of what everyone else is telling you is right to do, and start to get to know who you truly are. And when you start to do those exercise, start to take that small step to start to reclaim who you are, then whatever it is that is no longer supporting you to be your genuine innate self, those are the things that you need to drop off. And when the layers start to drop off, when you start to become authentic, you start to become who you truly are, you start to reclaim your own creative energy, that's when you can start to balance yourself and get to the point where you know who you truly are at a level that no longer needs anyone else to validate you. You know who you are, and you create from there. You stand on that. And whatever it is that you declare, it will happen. So that's what balancing your own energy system is like.